everyone. We are looking at lesson number 4 here, which is talking about the opposite of a number. And this is kind of one of the things where we kind of do the lesson and you kind of go, really? Really? Did we really just spend time on that? And I get it. The main thing is how we're writing things out. So we just want to make sure. So I can explain why, and this we say is negative a and a. Now, a is just a number we don't know, are considered to be opposites. So the whole thing is that they are the same distance from 0 on the number line. That's what makes numbers in order to be opposites. So let's go right down to example number 1. Locate the number 8 and its opposite. So if we locate 8, we're going to locate something on a number line. One of the big things that we do is we plot the point. So if we're going to locate it, that's it. We've located it. There it is. And then its opposite. So the opposite of 8 is opposite of a positive number is a negative. So it is negative 8. All right. Explain how they are related to 0. Okay. And this is the big thing, is this right there. All right, is that they are both the same distance away from 0. All right, even though one is negative 8, to get to negative 8, you still have to count 8 spaces. In order to get to positive 8, you still got to count 8 spaces. The big thing is same distance. All right, so that's a huge thing that we're going to see with our opposites. So let's go through this. The opposite of 9, negative 9. All right, so the opposite of a negative 2 is a positive 2. There we go. It's like the opposite of hot is cold. Yeah, I know. So opposite of 4, negative 4. And the opposite of negative 7, go and say it. Yeah, it's 7. Again, the opposite of a negative is a positive, and the opposite of a positive is a negative. Now, it does say plot the opposites of the numbers on the number line. So it just says plot the opposites. So we're going to plot negative 9. So when we plot it, again, we plot a point. That's it there. Okay. Now, because we know that this is part A, a lot of times we'll put an A above it, so we know that's the one we're looking at. The directions have to be specific there, but if they just say plot, that's all you need to do. If they say plot and label, then you need to label your point there. But if they just say plot, just go ahead and put a plot there. All right, plot, there we go, and plot the 7. There's your 7. That's all they're after on it there. So when we plot, all we do is we put a point on it. So now what we want to do is write the integer. Now remember, an integer is, all right, vocabulary is important here. So it is a positive or negative whole number, all right? So 0 feet above sea level. The integer is 100 because that's the number positive. If we're above 0, think of temperature there, all right? That is a positive amount. 0 represents, in this particular case, 0 is 0, 0, feet. Okay, we're talking about feet here. Sometimes instead of saying 0 feet, sometimes it's just better to, we don't even use the number 0. 0 is being at sea level. All right, you are exactly at sea level in that particular case. 32 degrees below 0, we are below it. That makes it a negative amount, so it is a negative 32. And 0 represents, in this particular case, 0 is just going to represent 0 degrees. So we do have some labeling. So again, sometimes it's more specific, sometimes it's not anything in particular there. A withdrawal of $25, if you're taking, now this is key thing, if you're withdrawing, it's all about your bank account. If you're taking out $25 from your bank account, I know it's going in your pocket, yay, all right. But you are withdrawing. What does that mean for your account? It means you're taking money out of your account. And again, if you want to say, wait a second, no, shouldn't that be a positive because I'm gaining money? Well, let's think about it. I would never leave the ATM then. If all I could do is withdraw money the entire time and it's a positive thing, I'm not leaving the ATM and I'm just taking out money the entire time. There's no more money to come out, and then all of a sudden, no, it doesn't work that way. All right. 0 represents here. 0 represents here, no money. All right, no money. You don't owe anyone anything, and you don't have anything. All right, I've gone a little bit too far here. So again, we're just kind of putting our words to go along with it, along with our opposites. So let's see what we got here. Maria decides to take a walk along Central Avenue to purchase a book at the bookstore. On her way, she passes the Furry Friends Pet Shop, all right, and goes in to look for a new leash for her dog. The Furry Friends Pet Shop is 7 blocks west of the bookstore. All right, 7 blocks west of the bookstore. After she leaves the bookstore, she heads east, all right, for 7 blocks and stops at Ray's Pet Shop. to see if she can find a new leash at a better price. Which location is the furthest from Maria while she is at the bookstore? Model the situation on the number line below. Okay, so starting point. So if we're going to start, let's start at 0. Okay, so where are we starting at? Decides to go for a walk along Central Avenue. Okay, on her way, she passed. Okay, so this is just going to be her starting point. So this is where she's going to start at, right there. She passes furry friends and goes in to look for her new leash for her dog. The furry friends is 7 blocks west of the bookstore. So, okay, so where she's starting? So let's be more specific. Where she's actually starting at? She's actually starting at the. She's at the bookstore right now. That is her spot. So I'm gonna label that as the bookstore. She passes the furry friends. Okay, on her way, she passes the furry friends. Betcha, and goes on. So the furry friends is 7 blocks west of the bookstore. So west. Let's use the north, east, south, and west. So 7 west. So 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7. All right. And in this particular case, that's going to be our furry friends pet shop. All right. So furry friends. And then after she leaves the bookstore, she heads east for 7 blocks and stops at Ray's. All right. So she's going east, all right, to get to Ray's, and she's going 7 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought there was something off about that. And this is at Ray's. See if you can find a new price there. All right. So, and this is one of those problems where you got to kind of, okay, I think I got it. Let me see here. So she decides to take a walk along Central Avenue, okay, to purchase a book. On her way, she passes furry friends and goes in to look for a new leash for her dog. The furry's pen is 7 months by. So, this is where, again, you want to try to make sure, okay, so that's 7 there. After she leaves the bookstore, she heads east. Okay, so after she leaves the bookstore there. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with the wording, but we're going to kind of have to go back and forth and make sure things have kind of matched up with it. What does 0 represent in this situation? Well, it was our starting point, all right? So because that was our starting point, in this particular case, it's actually going to be the bookstore that we are dealing with here. All right. Which location is furthest? It's the same. All right. They're both 7 blocks away. All right. And this is the whole idea behind it there, is that even though it's, you can associate, because I'm going to the left with a -7, to the right with a +7, it's both the same distance. So we don't always have to look at, is it a positive or negative? Sometimes it's just kind of looking at the amount. All right, so we got a number line. Locate and label a credit of 15 in the debit. Oh, a credit. If someone credits your account, that means you are getting the money. If they debit it, it's going to take it away. What does 0 represent in this situation? Okay, so first of all, should we count by? All right. I don't want to count by ones. That's too many of them. So I got to land on 15, and I got to land on -15. So we should count by? Yeah, why not 5? So 5, a 10, a 15. So then we get a -5, a -10, a -15. So locate and label. All right, so right here, this is our credit. All right, and then this is our debit, because again, it's taking money away from the account. Again, the key thing here is to locate, did it, labeled, did it. That's what we want there. 0 represents no money. All right. Yeah, no money there. So here on number line, locate and label 20 degrees centers below 0 and 20 degrees centers above 0. What does 0 represent? Okay, so I know I got 0, so I'm going to go to the middle. I want to land on 20. What should I count by? Yeah, count by 20s, right? We could. All right. What else could we count by? We count by 5s, 10s. We can use all those things. I'm going to use 10 here just because of the number of tick marks we've got here. All right. But yeah, technically, if you wanted, we could do that. Even going up to the previous one, if you wanted to, we could end up counting by 15s because we would land on both of them. So let's see here. I'm going to locate and label 20 degrees Celsius below 0. All right. So there we go. So there's your below. And then 20 degrees Celsius above. And there's your above there. What does 0 represent? 0 represents 0 degrees Celsius. All right. So let's see what we got here. Writing integers. All right. So proton represents a positive charge, right? So positive number, it's just a number. That's the big thing. When it's positive, it's just a number. Don't put a little plus sign. If it's negative, okay, then yes, we do need the negative sign. Which again, your negative sign is a little, looks like a little subtraction sign, kind of pushed up in the air a little bit. So it is something you want to kind of look at. Subtraction and negatives kind of look a lot alike together. All right. So lesson 5, we're also going to kind of continue along with. It's a lot of what we were doing before. The big thing here is the opposite of an opposite, which is kind of silly here. What is the opposite of the opposite of 8? Well, okay. What is the opposite of 8? Okay. How about negative 8? So what's the opposite of negative 8? Yeah, it's a positive 8. So the big thing about it, and we can go through the whole steps. I don't think we need to. The big thing about the opposite of the opposite is that it's always itself. So write the opposite of negative 10. So the whole idea is that if you take the opposite of negative 10, well, that's 10. And then what's the opposite of 10? Well, that is negative 10. So the opposite of a number is the number itself. It's silly, and this is why we don't use double negatives, because it's the same thing. It's like spin around, and now spin around again. Where are you at? Well, I'm right back where I started from. So we just don't use that kind of stuff too often there. So that's all we're going to do with lesson number 5, because again, we've talked about opposites, and this is really the phrase that we want. We are going to look at this probably a real world example of this. We don't see it too many times. It's kind of like saying this: I have $10. All right. I lost $10, and then I gained $10. The whole idea is you're right back where you started from. The opposite of positive $10 is to lose it. The opposite, again, is to gain it. You're right back where you started from. So it's just kind of like going in a circle. That's what that means. It's just giving it numbers to go along with it. That's all we got for you guys today. Again, a lot of this stuff is explaining, so do make sure that you're going to see less of kind of mathematical add, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and more of kind of description. So I know that might make you sad, but it's what we're after in this unit.